Thank you, Michael, for being here. I know that there's a lot of things that we all are doing to get OnPassive'S, on its way, and many leaders are actually here. I appreciate your time being here with us. I do have a few questions, and the first questions I'd like to ask you is, how many people will be in a passive person's team by the end of the year?
Wow, so it's smacking me right out the gate.
Yeah, right up.
Okay.
I'm like anxious because you out here with us, so no.
Sure, not a problem. Of course, we know, folks, that whatever we say is not guaranteed, right? It's very important that all of us understand that. Because when you're building a business, it's never as methodical as people think it is. It's never exact. It's not an exact science. But we certainly do know some things that will influence the process and influence the way we project numbers going forward. And so we've always used the idea, ever since we were at around 100,000 founders, we've always used the idea that, we believe that the system, the company, the AI, the technology, all of that, with the automated process, should be able to generate, 3 customers for a founder. And this is, the company doing this. This is not you assisting, this is the company doing this. And so we believe over a 60-day period, that's a realistic number. Now, can it be 10 in 60 days? Can it be 20 in 60 days? Absolutely, right? But, when we're doing projections, we want to be as conservative as possible, right? So then that way we're not hyping it up. We're not giving people too much of a big expectation. Something that we know is realistic. We can almost count on it, right? Can't guarantee it, but we can almost count on it, right? And so if we use that formula, if we use, the idea of, okay, if it takes 60 days just to get 3, without compounding the numbers, right? So meaning in the first 60 days after we launch, the system is in work for you. If all it did was generate 3 customers for you, and then the next 60-day period, right, which we used to call a cycle, right, the next 60-day period, again, same formula. So that means these 3 individuals, as they become resellers, right, they in turn will get the same benefit, right, which would be the company promoting, driving traffic, etc. So that would also generate 3 customers for them, right? So as we go through that in the course of a year, it would actually work out to be about 1,000 customers on your team. Now, I'm going to dial that even further back by saying, if we use a range in the first year of, say, 100 to 1,000 customers, that's realistic, right? So it could be as little as 100, it could be as much as 1,000, it could be anywhere in between there. But if you use those numbers, you're going to find out by the time you get into the second year, you're going to be happy, right? And so remember now, we're talking about someone who's doing absolutely nothing, right? They come in and just allowing the system to go through its process to do everything for them. So if that be the case, right? And we know this is a long-term business. We're not in this for 6 months to get rich, 1 year to get rich. That's not it. It's a long-term business that over time is going to build us an income for life, right? If we should pass on before we end up maximizing the benefits, not a problem, because it's willable, transferable, can pass on to our children or children's children, etc. Right? So if we continue that process, in the second year, we're looking at anywhere between 10,000 up to as much as 100,000 folks, right? But let's use a lower number. Let's just say over the course of 2 years, you generated 10,000 customers on your team without you lifting a finger, right? That is remarkable, right? That is phenomenal, right? Think of how many businesses that you've been in, and have you ever generated that, right? Having a customer base of 10,000, right? So just think of that. Think of the people that you know that may have joined this business, that business, etc. Have they ever built a team, with 10,000 customers? Chances are, I would say 90+% of them, the answer would be no. So if this AI technology can do this for us, we can clearly see how we're all going to win. Okay, we can clearly see it right now. And this is someone starting with 0. Now, imagine if the person just did a little bit, just getting 10, just getting 20, just getting, 100, whatever the case may be, just a little bit initially, while we're in this wait process, while we're in this pre-launch process, as we go into the soft launch process. If they did a little bit, imagine where the numbers would be. They're going to be that much ahead of the game, right? So yeah, Julie, when I look at these numbers, I just get excited and excited. Just thinking of the possibilities for so many people around the world. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. But again, nothing is guaranteed. This is just some projections, but I believe they're conservative, though.
Absolutely. And I know that you have been conservative, like very conservative on all of the numbers that on the conversations that we have. Now, let's say within that thousands founders or team members, what you call, or 10,000 in the second year, let's say. What if there's probably a handful of them say, oh, I don't want to pay for the subscriptions. What will happen to that team? Was that rupture the team? I mean, I do understand the fact, but I know that there's still other people out there thinking, what if my people in my team, in my business, don't want to pay for the subscription, that's kind of crazy if they don't, but what if,
Yeah, I mean, anything is possible, right? So with anything being a possibility, it's not going to impact your business though, right? Your business is not so much based upon even the founders on our team, right? Your business is based upon the customer base that the company is going to generate for you. So, let's say you have 1,000 people on your team right now, we go to launch and let's say none of them want to pay their subscription for whatever reason, right? We're just, speaking hypothetically, right? If that would be the case, no problem. The company's still going to be generating a customer base for you. It's just going to take you a little longer now, right? So the only thing that impacts it is the time aspect of it. Okay. So if you have a set amount of founders who choose not to participate, that means you have less leverage in play, right? The more of your founders on your team that actually, make their product purchase when we get to the official launch, then you have more leverage in play, right? Meaning you get to your income goal faster, right? So that's all that's going to do. I don't think it's going to have a significant impact. I doubt we're going to have a high number of individuals who choose not to make their product package purchase. They're here to make money. And in order to make the money, you need to buy the product. So, unless you're not here to make money, then there's no reason for you not to make that purchase, right?
Michael,
Yes,
just to clarify that the activation fee, after you do the activation fee, then there's a subscription, but that's paid automatically. So there's no way to stop that. Am I correct in that?
That is correct, right? That is correct. But I believe Julie may have been referring to the initial, right? So the initial is what she's referring to. But yeah, once that initial amount is paid, that's all it takes. That's all it takes to get it started. You got to put a little bit of gas in the engine in order for it to run, right? You understand? We're going to put a little bit in there. And for those of you who love electric cars, okay, you got to put a little bit of juice inside, a little bit of electricity, okay, to get it going, right? And that's what this is, right? That's what your initial product package is. Without it, the company cannot set up your business. You don't have a domain name. You're not going to have any traffic. You're not going to have no autoresponder. You're not going to have any capture pages. You're not going to have the tools that you need to build your business. That's why we have to buy the product package, okay? Because that's exactly what the company's going to use in order to build this business for us.
Right, Michael. So I cannot imagine anyone would not want to come up with the initial package, because if they work hard, and also right after we call it a VIP launch, there will be massive marketing driving traffic to our businesses. And I'm sure during that time, we all will make some bonus. Am I correct?
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. Now, we know that we have the soft launch phase, right? We know we have that. But folks, that could be really just a 4-week period, right? We know we say maximum 90 days, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be 90 days, right? So it could be quick. So I don't really factor that into my calculations. I don't factor that soft launch phase because it's really about testing, right? Regardless of how much traffic will be driven during that time, it's just testing, right? But once we get into the official launch now, that's where we're going to see some massive activity. Can you imagine, 900,000, 950,000, whatever the number will be, right? That's going to be out there as far as unique domain names, the various links that's going to be out there. The search engine is going to be going crazy, as far as providing organic traffic to us. The first year is going to be massive activity. I believe the rate will slow down, of course, okay? But the initial phase, the buzz that's going to be there, it's going to be like nothing we've seen thus far, right? But then it will slow down and so on. It won't be the exact same rate, month after month after month. No, it'll go up, it'll go down. It's going to fluctuate, right? And then I'm going to tell you right now, I believe a lot of the founders are going to be helping the system, right? We have, I would guess maybe say 80% are passive right now. But I think that number is going to be much smaller when we actually get to launch. When people start to see that money's coming in, when they're hearing the testimonials of this person made 10 grand, that person made 5 grand, that person made 2 grand, whatever the numbers are. When people start to hear that, there's going to be that frenzy, that excitement, right? Because as I said, that's why people are here. It's a business. Sure, we've become friends, family, all of that. But at the end of the day, it's still a business and people need to pay their bills, right? And so, once that generation of income starts to come in, people are going to be willing to talk to their neighbors about it. And they're going to be proud of OnPassive based upon what OnPassive is, right? Based upon what it is, people are going to be proud of it. So it's going to be something that's going to be coming out of their mouth. Okay, so that also is going to create even more, right, of an impact on our individual businesses as well.
Thank you, Michael. All right, let's move on to products and customers after global launch. Now, do you know if there are going to be packages of product that customers going to buy, or can they buy individual products, or what's your thought on that?
Well, I know we're going to have the product package. So the same package that we're getting as founders, that's going to be available to the general public, okay? For them to be able to purchase as such. But we're also going to have standalone products. So if somebody just wants a URL shortener, they'll be able to get that, right? They'll be able to get O-Trim, right? If somebody just wants the e-learning platform, they'll be able to get that on its own, okay? But overall, it's going to be more cost effective for them to get the package. But there'll be lots of individuals. It doesn't matter. You go to the store and, buy 3 for $6. Okay. That's from a number standpoint, that's your best buy. That's the most cost effective way to get that particular product. But some people say, well, I don't need 3 though. I only want 1. And so they'll get 1 and it's going to cost them, $2.49 or something like that. Right. As opposed to 3 for $6, which is $2 each. You understand? So you're going to have people like that will just get the product that they need. I don't care about anything else. I just want what I need and I'm good. So we're going to have both scenarios.
Great. Milo, do you want to jump in or should I continue?
Yeah, go ahead. You got a few more questions.
Let's talk about traffics, right? I've been hearing a lot of, you can buy extra traffics. And there's a lot of founders right now asking the questions when they heard that, do we need to spend more money out of pocket to buy traffic, or how does that work? Could you please clarify that for us, please, Michael?
Okay, so no one needs to get any additional traffic, okay? So don't think, okay, yeah, they got me in 97, then they get me in for, I don't know, 250. Oh, now they want to get me in for some other, fee. No, right? Once we get that product package, that's all we need to do. It's just going to be up to the individual, right? Based upon your circumstance, right? Based upon your situation, based upon your goals, etc. right, as to what you want to do. So for example, I may have multiple businesses that I want to promote. If that be the case, then it would make sense that I want to get extra traffic, okay? Because if I'm only using the traffic, the initial traffic package, but I have 4, 5, 6 businesses that I want to promote simultaneously, right? That traffic is not going to be enough to spread across, that many businesses, right? But if I have nothing else, all I have is OnPassive, then that's all I need is that initial package. But then I could be someone who says, well, you know what? I want to get to my income goal like yesterday. So, and they can afford it, right? Obviously, if they can't afford it, then there's no point in speaking about it. But if the person's in a position where they can't afford it, then certainly they will get the extra package. But it is optional. Optional means optional. It's a choice. Okay, no one has to do it. They're not forced to do it. Okay, they can leave it all alone and let the system do its thing. Just the same way, we talk about being active or passive, completely optional, right? Even after we get to the global launch, I know some folks will promote. They will drive traffic because all they will have to do is just put people in front of their unique domain. That's it, right? They don't have to be doing any presentation, answering questions, none of that. Just need to put people in front of it because that's what the system is going to be doing, right? It's just going to be putting people in front of it and then the system will take over thereafter. Okay, so we know some people will do that, but the traffic is completely standalone. People don't have to get it. It's not necessary, but it depends on your situation. Okay.
Michael, I know, I think about this all the time and my mind just goes crazy, but, I always say the more you can get, the better. So as many spots, like you said, that you can afford them, and they're not going to go down. They're so valuable, each one of those spots, and you can put a business on them. But I think, the more I think about it, I was thinking, well, I could go to JV Zoo, I could throw a business on and do this and that, and I could, and the traffic would go there. But then the other part of me says, why would you do that when you could just still have it for OnPassive? You could buy more traffic to come to OnPassive and build that up. Do you agree with me? I mean,
I agree with you, Milo. I do agree with you. However, we know that people are going to come to OnPassive for a variety of reasons. Right. Some people may be passionate about the business that they have. Some people may be delusional in thinking that their business is going to generate some money eventually. We don't know what the situation is, right? But it's all there for people. It's all there for them to make that choice. I believe that OnPassive compensation is going to be something that's never been seen before, right? Been never achieved before, the levels of success that people will have with it. So if you are in business because you're in business to make money, then I'm going to put my best foot forward. Whatever it is that's going to get me to my income goal, that's what I'm going to promote. That's what I'm going to focus my time and energy on, right? So if that be the case, this is why I'm saying, Milo, that I agree with you, because I believe that no other business is going to compare from an income standpoint. We can talk about products, and that's different, right? There's lots of great products that we're still going to need. OnPassive is not going to provide every single product that you need. It's not going to, okay? There's going to be other stuff that you need outside of OnPassive, okay? But from a business standpoint, yes, we're going to have all that we need from a business standpoint, okay? But yeah, it makes sense for me. I'm going to ramp everything up. I'm going to do everything possible, Milo, right? I'm going to do extra promoted, right? Driving traffic. I'm going to buy additional traffic packages. I'm going to do a variety of things to get me to where I want to be sooner than later. Okay, sooner than later. All right.
I agree with you, and I mean, I think about the traffic package, man. If you can afford that, right out of the gate, it's putting you at a big advantage, because remember, we're starting early, and the early bird gets the worm, and we've talked, or you talked about how it possibly could slow down. It's got to later on, maybe, but the first year or two, it's going to be gangbusters, I believe. And just, so you need to take advantage of it while you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if we look at 100 million customers a year, it's still going to take 10 years, just to get to the 1 billion mark, right? using that, right? So the opportunity is just massive. That's all. It's just massive. But why would I want to take 10 years to make whatever my income goal is when I can do it in 3 years, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna do everything I possibly can to get there, right? But each person will have to make their own decision, again, based upon their own personal situation, based upon what they can afford and all of that. But at the end of the day, all people really need one account. They're gonna need that one product package purchase. They're gonna need whatever traffic that's coming. That's all they need from a need standpoint, right? But everyone has different needs. You understand, right? Somebody who lives in New York City, right, in Manhattan, right, their needs is going to be different than somebody living in Houghton, Michigan, right, Lamilo?
Right, that's for sure.
It makes a difference, okay? So, everyone has different needs, right? So it's just, again, it's gonna come back down to personal choice. But I believe that regardless of what our needs are, every single person that's in OnPassive right now will get to that goal, right? It's just a matter of how long will it take, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, Michael. So as a founder, I know that we have 3 stages. Let's use the old term, pre-launch, soft launch, and hard launch. We are absolutely going toward the end of pre-launch now. So let me ask you really quick, what do you recommend founders do during soft launch? And what about hard launch?
Well, to me, it's simple. It's always business as usual, right? Nothing will change for me when we get into soft launch. It's business as usual. So if I'm a passive person right now, chances are I go into soft launch, I'm going to be a passive person, right? If I'm an active person right now, chances are I go into soft launch, I'm going to be an active person, right? It's business as usual. Nothing changes. You continue to do what it is that you want to do. This is your business, right? This is not someone dictating to you, telling you, do this, do this, do this. I'm not back in school, right? This is, we're not in school, right? We're all grown adults and we can, make decisions. Sure, we can offer guidance, we can offer suggestions, right? And then people can take it from there. But to me, I just think it's business as usual. It just makes sense. Whatever abilities that you have, whatever that you can do for yourself and your family, you do it, right? And if you're one, so let's say, you know what, I'm in OnPassive because I just can't recruit nobody. I can't, share with anybody. I can't sell. I can't do anything. I've tried it so many different times. It's just never worked for me. Okay, no problem. Okay, you're in OnPassive. So guess what? What can you do? Maybe you can get multiple accounts, right? So by having multiple accounts, you're also creating leverage for yourself. You understand me? So that's another thing that you can do that's going to assist you as if you actually went out there and shared the business, right? And this is why some people have like 100 accounts, because they know I don't want to share with nobody, been there, done that. I don't want to talk to no friends, no family. So I'm going to do that instead, right? So people have different strategies on how to get to their income goal. And I think everything is on the table. There's nothing that's off the table, but it's still going to come back to what each individual wants to do. Soft launch, hard launch, same thing. We get to the official launch, and if you are a person who chooses to be passive, chances are you're going to still be passive until the light bulb kind of clicks, right? The light goes on, and you're like, wow, this thing is actually real, okay? Because for most people who are not sharing with others, because they're not 100% sure it's real. You know what I mean? They're not 100% sure it's real, right? But the ones that were sharing like gangbusters, because they're convinced. Folks, I am so convinced this is 100% real. There's nowhere to go in this business other than going upwards. That's why I do what I do. You think I'm I don't want to say sleepless nights, but spending a lot of time doing stuff like this, right? Answering questions for people, helping where I can between phone calls and emails and, WhatsApp, and you understand? Doing all these different things. Why? Because I am convinced, you understand me, about what I'm doing. This is not, well, let's give it a try, maybe it's gonna work, maybe. No. If I thought that, like, you would never see me. You know what I mean? So, once a person is convinced about that, then it's very difficult not to share. You may not get the results that you're looking for by sharing, but it's very difficult not to at least attempt to share it with somebody. There must be somebody somewhere, you know what I mean, that you can put it in front of and says, listen, I don't know, maybe it's not for you, but I'm telling you, this is the best thing I've ever seen, period. So here, take a look. And done. I have nothing more to say to that person, right? You may hear me talk a lot in answering questions and all of that stuff, but I'm not one to convince anyone about anything. I simply say, here you go, and move on to the next person. If they want to come back and they got questions for me, no problem, I'll answer your questions. But I'm not going to try to convince you. The same way if somebody's in and they want to leave, I'm like, okay, here's the instructions. I just give them the instructions. This is how you get a refund. I don't say, well, why do you want to do that? Oh my gosh, we're on the verge of this, and oh, you're making a big mistake. No, I don't convince them to come in, and I don't convince them to stay. You understand? People have to make up their own mind about their life, right? About their life. I just know what I see. You understand me? I know what we have in our hands, and I know that this is the goose that laid the golden egg, period. Period.
I agree with that. And, I think it's just all about presenting the opportunity. You have something that they should want or they need, and, it's up to them to take it. But one thing, Michael, people have said, I've heard this said a lot, and it always kind of gets me a little bit. People say, well, I don't know, said, I've got to come up with that money at launch time. Now, to me, it's a given that, if you're in, when it comes launch time, that money's going to be in the wallet. You just got to activate the wallet and then take it out. Am I thinking right, especially if you've been in a long time?
Well, as we've said, like nothing is guaranteed, right? So I don't want to make it sound that it's guaranteed that there's going to be some money there, right? However, the earlier person, someone who's been in since 2018, they're going to have a greater probability, right? Comparing apples to apples though, right? If they're in the same position as someone who came in today, well, the person who came in 2018 has a greater probability, you understand me, to see money in their wallet when they get to launch, okay? Somebody joined in 2019, okay, their probability is still greater than somebody today, but not as great as somebody in 2018. You see how that works? Right? Because there has to be because if there was no difference, then why come in 2018? Why not just wait just before we're going to go to launch and then come in if there wasn't a difference? So there has to be some incentive. So, not everything is known, not everything is presented, and for good reason. Because as soon as you present something, as soon as you share some information, guess what happens? It's all over YouTube, right? It's all over Facebook, right? People are told, do not share this, they don't listen, right? It's just human nature. You're gonna have some folks, it doesn't matter. You tell them don't do this, they're gonna do it anyways, right? And so not everything is presented to everyone. But I think we would actually get a lot more insight as to what's going on if we all could be trusted. And the reality is we can't. Right. You know what I mean? So, but at the end of the day though, I think that, as long as we get in, right? As long as we get in, we know that success is ours, as long as we get in, right? At the end of the day, right? But you're gonna have some people in better position than others. That's just business, right? It's like if somebody goes out there, and I see Marty now, Marty goes out there, Marty refers 1,000 personals, okay? And then Tom refers 10 people. Like, should Marty not be compensated more so than Tom? You understand me? It just makes sense, right? It's a fair system. It doesn't mean that Tom is not going to get to his income goal, right? He will, right? But if we're going to compare the two together, the person who's actually done more is going to achieve more and be rewarded more, okay? The person who has a larger team is going to be rewarded more than the person with a smaller team. It's only fair, right? So all of us are not going to, we're not going to all get the same amount of income, right? But we're all going to succeed. And that's what's, to me, the most important thing is the success. We want everyone to succeed. We don't want, just a handful of people, here's Marty, Mr. Billionaire, and then everybody else is making, you know, $100 a month or so. That's not what we're looking for. We want everyone to succeed, meaning that whatever your income goal is, that you'll be able to attain it over time, you'll be able to attain it, and that's what matters.
Awesome, Michael. Thank you so much. I remember vaguely on one of the video that I watched, you were talking about automatic internet millionaire was kind of the starting, you know, and then OnPassive it's like the wrapping, or I wish I could rephrase it, but what you started with automatically internet millionaire, and you did driving traffic. It's an online, it's internet power. And then when OnPassive came, it kind of like two mind meeting together. Could you talk about it? And we have about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna have about 15 minutes for the panelists if they want to ask you questions, and then I'll have one last question before you leave. So it's kind of like the timeline for everyone to, yeah. So back to
Sure, I can probably stick around till 8:15.
Okay.
The other presentation will go on, and then I just kind of come in the middle of it. That's okay. So how would I say it? Like I've been around for a number of years, right? I've been in business for over 25 years. Okay, I've done the multi-level marketing, network marketing, you know, and I've had friends who were involved in that. They would come to me and says, oh, you know, can you help me, you know, do this business, or how can I set it up? How can I, you know? So my mindset has always been, you know, well, why can't your company? Right? Why can't your company do it? Why can't my company do it for me? You know, why do I have to do it? Now, here I am, okay? I'm not a salesperson. I'm a lawyer. I'm a doctor. You know, I'm a carpenter, right? I'm a nurse, right? I'm not a salesperson. So to me, the industry is asking regular folks who are not salespeople to get involved in something that requires selling. Now, to me, that doesn't make sense. Right, that's just, you know, my brain thinking through this, right? And so I've always felt that, you know what, if we can put something together that's automated, something that's going to do the selling for people, because that's what you're not good at. You're not good at selling, so why should I be asking you to go sell? Like, if you're gonna hire staff for your business, right, and you need salespeople, you're not gonna hire salespeople. You're gonna go hire some engineers. you know what I mean? You want people that's going to be able to do the task at hand, right? And so that was my mindset. And so like 10, maybe 11 years ago, I created that system whereby people simply come in, you know, and I was able to, you know, teach myself how to do all this stuff online, by the way, right? And then set up everything for them. So they simply came in, I got their username, their password, I logged into their back office, I set up everything so it's all automated, meaning they didn't have to do a thing. Right, we went and we purchased the traffic for them. We drove the traffic to their capture pages and so on and so forth. We had all the letters in their autoresponder that automatically send out a presentation, follow up, all of that stuff. Okay, when people had questions, they didn't even go to those individuals. They came to me. I would literally answer questions for everyone. So you can imagine the workload and answering. So this is why I got so good at typing, right? Answering all these different questions by email. I wasn't getting on the phone with anybody, right? No one saw me or anything like that. I'm just behind the computer doing my thing. And it worked to an extent, right? Like we're spending $30,000 to $40,000 a month just driving traffic alone. It worked to an extent. The problem with it is that what we were doing, we had auto ship, right? So we had people spending money every single month like clockwork, whether they're making money or not. Right? And so what would happen if they weren't making the money fast enough? And by fast, I mean in the first 30 days. If they weren't making money in the first 30 days, they would quit. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Right? I said, you've seen all the testimonials, you've seen all the different people who are making money, but guess what? It didn't happen overnight for them though. If you stick with it, you're gonna make money, right? So, you know, we battered through all of that. But the point is that the concept made sense. Right? Because that's where we got our most success. From everything that we've done, that's where we had our most success, and we had more people succeeding, but it becomes a trickle effect when you talk about pure multi-level marketing. when these people, they quit, it trickles up. Then they're not making no money, they quit. You understand me? It's a cycle, right? So then I was like, ah. And then here comes OnPassive, right? Here comes OnPassive in 2018. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not gonna work. This is what we're doing and we're having problems right now, right? And then as I dig more into it and then realize that, no, this is a company. This is a company's going to be, this is what I've been talking about. Why can't a company do this? Not an individual, you know what I mean? Company with real staff, real products, all of that. And so I was like, wow, this is it. This is, this is my prayers being answered basically, right? So that's why we got all excited with OnPassive. And this is why we know that OnPassive is going to work, because we've done it just on a tiny scale, right? We've done it on a tiny scale. We've seen the success from it. Now we're talking about a gigantic scale. It's going to work, folks. There's no doubt about it, right? It's a simple concept. Once you understand the concept and you see, it's just a matter of knowing how the process works, because there's a process when it comes to sales. Sales is not an event. You know what I mean? You don't walk into a car dealership and everybody comes in there, just buy right then and there. No, but you have to have a way to be able to bring them back in, right? And when we talk about digital marketing now, if we have a way, when all these visitors are coming, you have to have a way to be able to follow up. You have to be able to reach them again, right? And it's in that follow-up, that's where the success is. It's in that follow-up, because most people will not buy first time around. You understand? It may take them a week, a month, even a year to actually make that purchase. Right? And so if you have an automated system, then it's not you doing all this. You don't have to pick up the phone and call these people. No, this system's gonna do all that. So you go on the beach, you're making money. You're with your family having fun, you're making money. That's what you want, right? That's what you want.
Absolutely, Michael. When it comes to automation, I love it. It saves a lot of time. So if you have questions for Michael, it is now a good time to raise your hand. If you already heard the questions been asked here before, please, don't ask the same questions, because we wanted this to be a Q&A for Michael. I know that there is a question on the chat, and I'll ask a very quick one. It's asked if I was to buy, no, hold on. It's regarding pending position from 2018, 2019. What are the benefits? If I have those positions, should I build them? Well, obviously, in the last few days, I have a lot of people asked me that question. So I thought I just asked you here, Michael, just so that I have this out for everyone.
Sure. Okay. So again, as we've stated, right? All we need is one account. Okay. But with that said, for me personally, I have as many as I can afford. That's just me personally. I have hundreds of accounts because I can afford it. Okay. So I'm not going to tell somebody, oh, don't go get it. I mean, you understand me? Because I've gotten it for myself. Okay. I've done that. But when it comes to the whole idea of the dates, as I mentioned earlier, which I think ties into this question, it's like, yeah, if somebody has a 2018 account, it's as if you joined them, right? It's as if you joined them, right? So you're gonna get whatever benefits that's associated with that account, okay? Same for 2019, same for 2020, and so on. Okay, you're getting the benefit associated with that account that you acquire, okay? Now, do you build under it? I say no, okay? I say no, wherever you came in, whoever got you in, stay there, focus there, build there. That's what you want to do, right? I think it's the right thing to do because these pending accounts, they're bonus accounts, right? It's a bonus, right? Instead of the company just flushing them out because these people choose not to upgrade, the company says, okay, well, if we can get somebody else to take it on, why not? Why waste it? Why let it go to waste, right? So that's really what the company is saying. So their bonus accounts is going to multiply your income. So think of it that way. Right, so here's my account that I came in on originally. I'm building through there from a builder, right? If I choose to get additional accounts, that's just going to give me, more money on top of what I'm going to generate with my main account. Again, the goal is to get me to that income number that I have in mind, right? So think about this. If my income goal is, I want to make $2,000 a month. That's my income goal. Okay, here's my main account. I'm building that. Let's say right now my main account is going to get me $1,000 a month. Okay, but because I purchased some other accounts, right? That alone, that activity is enough to get me to my $2,000 a month goal. So that's what these other accounts do. They get you to whatever your income goal is faster, right? Faster. Is it a necessity? No. Do I have to do it? No. It's always a choice. But to me, whatever accounts I can acquire for myself, it's better than, 10 is better than 0. 10 is better than 1. 5 is better than 2. You understand? It's just a numbers game, folks, right? But it's really up to you, and make sure don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't be those people who think I'm gonna get 10 accounts, right? And I'm gonna pay for one of them when we get to official launch, and I'm gonna wait for that to generate enough income. Then I'm gonna take that money now and go pay for the next one, right? And then as that build up, then take that money, pay for the next one, and that's a terrible strategy. From a mathematical standpoint, it's a terrible strategy, okay? I would rather just go get 3 accounts, right, that I know I can afford to pay for all 3 of those once we get to the official launch. So that way all 3 start generating income right away, because you're not going to be getting the traffic if you don't pay for it. Those accounts are just sitting there dormant, right? They're just dormant. Why? Right? Because it's not getting the traffic. You understand? Or the maximum traffic anyways, right? Because you have to activate it. If you haven't activated it, there's no domain name for you. You don't have a business, right? You don't have a business. So to me, because I've heard people, A, ask the question, and B, I know some folks were thinking that that's what they're going to do. It just doesn't make sense. All right.
Michael, that would be if you only had one person, right, on your team or something?
What would be?
By saying that, I mean, if you got a whole bunch on your team, you're going to have the money there to pay the other places off, correct?
Absolutely, but I still would make sure that whatever accounts I get, I can afford to pay for all of them. That's what I would do. Now, things happen in life, right? We're still going through a pandemic. Some folks have lost their job, so they got in 2019 and they bought 10 accounts and they all intention of paying for all that. Then they lost their job. They may not have the money when it comes to official launch to pay because of that situation. You understand? So things can happen. I get it, but the intention, right? What am I looking to do? What am I trying to achieve? Again, I'm trying to maximize my income, because I want to maximize my income. There's certain steps I'm going to take. And one of those steps would be, in my case, is to have multiple accounts, because I know it's going to get me there faster. Okay. But I can also get multiple accounts underneath my main position as well. You understand? Folks, every single account is important. There is no one account, oh, that's a bad account. There is no bad accounts in OnPassive. There is none whatsoever. If I had somebody on my team, and they say, oh yeah, I want to get an older account, and then they got an older account, and then they did a refund for the original account, I would get them terminated from OnPassive. That's just me. That's what I would do, right? Because that's not something that we encourage. Right. You understand me? But yeah, it's numbers, Milo, right? And it just comes down to the individual as to what they want to do. I believe everyone is trying to get to their income goal like yesterday. I think everyone is. Some folks are 80 years old. They're thinking, well, I don't know. Is it going to be 81? Is it going to be 86? I don't know. Maybe it's going to be 100. We don't know, right? And some folks would like to at least be able to taste some of the fruits. Sure. You understand? So absolutely. To me, even if somebody's 18, nobody knows what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow's not guaranteed for anybody, right? Or it's not promised. So from that standpoint, I'm going to do everything I can to get to my income goal as fast as possible. That's all. Absolutely.
All right, Marty's got his hand up. Marty, come on down. Speak to us.
Michael, you're a diamond, man. You're an amazing guy, champion. We took the same walk, just different areas. When I hear you, I sounds like I say the same story to people. But no, I mean, it's I feel like Michael does. You get in here, and once you walk to that other place, whatever that other place is, and realize you can't bring people with you, and it's rigged against you, and the companies are not set up to help you get where they got to get. And you see OnPassive, you couldn't pay me to get out of OnPassive. There's no talking me out of it. I don't think of anything else. Same thing. But I really appreciate you, Michael. You're very good explaining stuff. And I don't know how much you know, but everybody thinks you're one of the best in the business. Guys like you make people come to this business, and I want to tell you I appreciate it. Big time.
That's because I pay them, Marty. Come on now, you know that.
And you owe me $20, so yeah.
Thank you, Marty.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks, Mark.
Thank you. All right, Thierry Ocho, I see you have your hand raised, Thierry.
Bonsoir, Julie. Hello, Milo, Michael, everybody. I had a question.
Bonjour, mon ami.
Bonsoir, Michael. I had a question on my webinar yesterday. I was not able to answer correctly. Some people are having pending founders right now, even if it's 2021 founders who didn't pay the $97 already. And somebody's were asking me, will he have the commission if the $97 are paid during the soft launch? I thought maybe because of the timestamp, the commission will be only for the people who are coming, signing, registering during the soft launch. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't believe we're going to have pending founders in the soft launch, okay, meaning existing pending founders. Okay, so if we have pending founders right now, unless they are within 6 months, okay, but any pending founder that's older than 6 months, I don't believe we're going to have them once we go into soft launch. It's going to be purged, it'll be flushed out, right, as we go in. But those that are 6 months or newer, right, they will be there. So if any of those account now make their payment during the soft launch, that bonus would be applicable. Okay, just know that their date, okay, their date is going to be based upon the payment date. It's not going to be based upon, oh, they were from, you know, August 2021. Okay, they'll not get August 21 date. It's going to be the date that they make the actual payment. Okay, so two things: one, the date, and two, yes, the bonus will be applicable during the soft launch.
Okay, thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Thierry. There is a question on the chat that I'd like to read out before I call the next person, Milo.
Okay.
And I think this question is, I have a lot of people ask this question too, but this particular person is asking on here, Frank. He is saying, with the current global attention on money laundering, how are we covered by OnPassive at a time funds start going into our bank accounts, particularly when banks begin to raise eyebrows in suspicion?
Okay, so you only have to be concerned about that when you're doing illegal activity. Okay, if you're not engaged in any illegal activity, it's a non-concern, right? Millions of dollars can go through your bank account, right? There's nothing wrong with that as long as you can prove to the bank what's the source of it, where's it coming from. It's all about the source of funds, right? So if I can show, yeah, this is my business. And folks, when you get to big numbers, chances are you're going to have a corporation. Chances are you're not going to be, you know, running stuff just to your personal name from a tax standpoint, okay? Depending on where you're in the world, of course, okay? So you're going to have a business. Like, this is a business, not a money game. It's a business. So if you have a business and you can show your bank that, yeah, this is my business, I have an AI, you know, IT business, these are the products, blah, blah, blah. It's a non-issue, folks, right? You're not going to have any problems, right? They may ask you a question, okay, sir, we need you know, source of funds declaration, blah, 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 before we release $1 million in your account. But that's not going to happen overnight, right? It's going to build up to that. So, okay, I got $2,000 coming in. Okay, I got $2,500 coming in, right? You're going to have documentation to show this is where my money is coming from. This is what I'm doing. I'm not doing any money laundering. I'm not doing no funny business. So it's a non-concern.
Thank you, Michael. Just a little bit on the spillover for old, if they were to buy old positions, the possibility of spillover. I have to ask because it's on.
Sure, of course, there's a possibility, folks. There is, right? Let's be real. Overflow is still applicable in our model, okay? It's still applicable, okay? You're just not going to see it, okay? Like, here's the thing. Let's say my goal, I want to make $1 million. That's my goal, let's say, right? Do I really care how I get there? You know what I mean? Did that come because I had so much overflow? Did that come because the company got me so many customers? Did it come because of all the effort I did or whatever? I just know I got to my goal, right? Whatever that number is, right? And so overflow will factor in, but you personally can't factor into your calculation because you have no idea what it's going to be. Just know that it's a possibility, right? And the older the account, then the greater the possibility for overflow, but it's still not guaranteed because you can have an old account under somebody who has done absolutely nothing. You understand? And you could be in a I don't want to say a chain, but you can be on a team, right, where the team is not active at all. They haven't done anything. So you can't compare that to somebody like Marty and OP Nation that's been doing so much. You understand me? It's night and day, folks. So we have to be able to compare apples to apples, right? But the bottom line is that the possibility is there. The older account that I have, the greater the probability, right? But it's not a guarantee. Okay, we just have to think of it in those terms. Again, think of overflow as another bonus. Remember now, even if you get no overflow, you're still gonna win because remember what I said earlier, it's all about what the company's going to do for you once we open the doors, right? That's when the fun really begins, once those doors are open, okay? And those who are doing stuff now, again, just gonna have a head start out those doors. You know what I mean? It's like the people who are active, the door's already open for them. The people that are more passive haven't done anything, well, the door is shut and they have to wait till we get to the actual launch for the doors to finally get open and now their business start to be built for them. That's all it is, folks, okay? But remember, we're in, we're gonna win.
All right, Michael, thanks for that great explanation. Next up, we have Cheng Yang. Come on down, Cheng Yang.
Hello, Michael. Hello, everyone. Hello, Julie. Yes,
sir.
my question is, I had one pending founder under me, and I still be able to convert that to me, to myself, or it's only from the leadership council only?
Okay, so right now, if you don't have a transfer button in your back office, then you cannot transfer it to yourself. Okay, but if you want to, you can actually send a ticket in or contact an LC member to maybe change the email address to yourself, and then you can acquire that account. You understand?
Okay.
So let's say you reach out to Marty, for example, and say, hey, Marty, I'd like to change this email address from this new one that you go create right now, right, to this old address that's pending in my back office. Can you do that for me, Marty? Marty will assist you, then it gets changed over, and guess what? Now you can go make that purchase.
Okay.
All right.
Can you, will you be able to do that too?
Will I be able to do that too?
Yeah.
Mike's you never offer that, man. No.
Okay.
There's a reason why I said, you know, if you contacted Marty and Marty, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to me.
I got some couple positions from Marty, and now I think my four email to you on the chat. So Chico told me that you had some old position, so I just sent you a 4 email on the chat. So I just wonder if you can.
No. What you have to do is go into the back office and get the email address and then send it that way. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Not in
I will
the
do
chat.
that.
All right. Okay.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cheng. Key, you have your hand raised. Please unmute your mic.
Thank you, Joey. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Michael and for everything that you do. You speak numbers, and in my line of work, I work with numbers in helping to take care of people, and your time statement on we don't know how much time we have. When I walked into work last night, there were 3 of my 16 patients that were gone on to a better place, if you know what I mean. Last night was a rough night, but the numbers game, I just want to share, and I have multiple accounts, Michael, and I've listened to your theory and your explanations, and the adage of a penny a day that doubles for 31 days. It's $10.7 million at 31 day.
Mm-hmm.
The same 31 days, if you start with 3 pennies that double for 31 days, that 10.7 goes to 32.2 million. So the same amount of time is going to pass, and we are guaranteed 0 time. We don't, everybody that's here, I could get in a car wreck tomorrow. We just don't know. Right. So thank you for your wisdom, your mathematical wisdom, and what you bring to the table. And no, Marty didn't pay me, but if Marty wants to buy me dinner one night, that's fine. But thank you, Michael. That's all I had.
Yeah, you're so welcome. You're so welcome.
Thank you, Key. I see there's 2 questions in the chat, Michael, and I'd like to read it out for you. I would say yes to both of them, but I think it's good if you could answer. The first one is from Momodu. Hello, Mr. William. My name is Momodu, founder. My question is, I have an invention which is ready to produce and distribute to public, but I don't have money now. If OnPassive launches, can I use OBS to raise fund to fund it?
Absolutely, you can, yes.
Second question, can I transfer my funds from my pending accounts wallets to my main account, then to my bank account?
From your pending account wallet? Well, your pending account wouldn't have a wallet. Okay, but if you have money in an OnPassive wallet, yeah, you can transfer that to your bank account, yes.
Absolutely. All right, thank you, Michael. Any more questions? Otherwise, I'll go to my list of questions to ask Michael. Everyone? All right, I take that as a no. I don't see any.
That was quick.
All right, so quick question. Are there tutorial videos for products or for the wallets?
Yeah, there will be. On all the products, there'll be, information, including video tutorials, yes.
All right. In our Q&A last Monday, someone asked you whether or not do you think that OnPassive will launch in 2021, and then you said probability. You said something.
I gave a diplomatic answer according to a gentleman that was there. Yes.
Okay. All right. Because I think that's a lot of. I get asked a lot of those questions, so I thought, Milo, do you have any questions for Michael? Because I have a few more.
Go ahead, Julie.
All right. So, Michael, I know that you are working very hard, and I see you keep drinking water. So what do you do right now to take care of yourself? I know that you're jumping from webinars to webinars, keeping people up to date with not just information, asking questions. And I know we all talk a lot. What do you do to take care of yourself?
I don't eat what Marty eats. I don't eat perfect, obviously, but I think I eat healthy, and I also exercise. Okay, so I lift weights, right? So we have a complete gym and stuff like that. We have lots of stuff here. We could literally open up our own gym here. So my kids are very active. My wife's active. I'm active. So we exercise regularly, right? So I simply say we eat right. We do eat junk food. Don't get me wrong, but for the most part, we monitor what we eat. and we exercise regularly. Yes.
Do you have enough sleep? Do you sleep enough?
Yep.
Yeah,
I believe I do, because I mean, one of the things that we do is that come Friday evening, we shut down, right, till Saturday evening. So that's why you'll never see me on a Friday night webinar or a Saturday morning webinar, stuff like that. So it's Friday night to Saturday night, we shut down, no work, no nothing, just the family time. You know, so we get rest. So we'll sleep in, unless the kids don't have stuff, we're gonna go take them to this, whatever, Saturday morning or whatever. But for the most part, we're able to rest. So we get to recoup, you know, kind of shut the brain down as far as work and all of that. So, you know, so we do that as well. And not every night, I'm not going to sleep, you know, late every single night. But I've never been one to sleep in all the time, or to sleep for long hours. I've never been that person. But I believe I get enough sleep. If I'm tired in the daytime, I go take a nap.
absolutely. And I love how you set a rule for your family. Basically, a rule for your family is Friday night, Saturday, until the end of Saturday, you shut it all down and just spend time for family.
No phone, no computer, you know, put it away. Yeah.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. So, okay. So last webinar, when Mr. Ashmore showed up, sorry, Milo, I got to ask this question. He answered the other gentleman that talking about telecommunication, and he said, we're not owning the internet, but we are the internet. What is your thought about that?
I have no thoughts. I mean, I just take that as, you know, we're going to be a lot of things to a lot of people, right? We're going to have a lot of influence in a lot of circles where the internet is concerned, because of our sheer size, right? Not our size now, but what our size will be, right? I believe we're going to have, you know, more than 1 billion users, right? We're going to be massive. And I don't think it's going to take long for that to happen. I don't, you know, 10 years from now, you know, it's going to be much quicker than that, I believe, to get to 1 billion users. I don't think it's going to take us 10 years for that to happen. So I just think because of our sheer size, we're going to be all over the internet. You know what I mean? Every corner that you go on the internet, you're going to find OnPassive. You know, there's going to be a lot of stuff being promoted there. A lot of people are going to be using OnPassive this, OnPassive that. You know, and even when they use a white label, because some of the products will have, other companies will be able to put their label on it, right? But it's going to be powered by OnPassive, right? So we're going to be all over the place, specifically the internet, right? So, you know, that's how I look at that.
Thank you, Michael. So Milo reminded me that we have 5 more minutes, and I got to get this question in, and then Milo wants 3 minutes with you. So my question is, what are your vision? Well, I mean, what do you see OnPassive in the next 5 years, 10 years?
Well, certainly becoming a household name, right? In the next 5 years, right? There's no reason why we can't be a $10 billion company within that time frame, right? Over the course of the next 10 years, emerging as a tech giant, right? OnPassive will be a giant. There's no doubt about it, right? We're going to be one of the top 5 major players when it comes to user base, you know, globally, right? In offline, online, whatever. Obviously, if you're online, I think you have a much farther reach. You know, when you talk about, you know, what we're going to be doing from a digital standpoint, right? Seeing millions of people around the globe, you know, getting out of poverty. I think that is something that's going to be, you know, very instrumental in what OnPassive will be able to do, right? Again, it's not about people becoming millionaires. It's about people being able to get out of poverty. You know, you're used to making $2,000 a year. All of a sudden now here's a company that's helping you make $10,000 a year. Okay, that's going to be a massive difference in that individual's lifestyle, financial lifestyle, right? So it's not, I know sometimes we all, you know, we talk about big numbers and all of that, but the reality is, you know, the majority of people around the world don't need big numbers, right? They just need a way out, and their way out doesn't take much, right? You know, we, especially in the US, Canada, we take a lot of things for granted by what we have. And, you know, you come to Toronto, you just can't buy a home for less than $1 million. You just can't. You know what I mean? And you're not getting much for $1 million. You know what I mean? I'm sure, you know, California, you know, and other places as well. But the point is, we take a lot for granted. And so many people around the world, some just need clean water, right? So imagine just being able to go and supply a country with clean water. So, you know, so there's lots of things that people need. And I believe that OnPassive, not necessarily, doesn't have to be the company itself, but based upon what the company has helped us to attain, we in turn will be able to bless other people's lives. And so that's where I see OnPassive, you know, in the next 5 to 10 years, going to have a significant impact in that.
Awesome. Awesome, Michael. Michael, I want to applaud you and thank you for coming tonight and blessing us by being here. And you can look at the numbers of where we're at, like 200 almost strong all night, right at it. Everyone loves to hear you speak. Thanks for the time that you put in, and you help us all. And I just want to thank you for coming tonight.
Well, thanks for having me. Again, it's always a pleasure. You know, it's tonight I was supposed to drop my son. He has a tryout tonight, you know, for his team. But, you know, again, my wife stepped in, so she's gone to do that so I can be here with you guys. And then jump onto this other Zoom as well. So, you know, these are the things that we do around here. So we're all doing our part, right? So you guys have never seen her, but she's a very integral part, you know, in me being able to do what I do, you know, because we really work closely as far as making sure, you know, everyone is taken care of. So if the wife is happy, you know, it goes, those of you who are married, if the wife is happy, then, you know,
that's right.
So it's all
that's
good.
What?
It's all good. Yeah.
Good. Well, hey, let's all put our hands together for Michael being here tonight and talking with us. Thanks again, Michael. I know you've got to go. You're a busy man, so I want to make sure we don't hold you long.